Like my hair, I tried to do something with the flexi rods, but my curls fell like this. This is a disclaimer that my bangs will end up in a different position than how they started. Hi everyone, my name is Gia and welcome back to another video. I am super excited to bring you all along with me today. If this is your first time watching my channel, welcome. I post get ready with me vlogs and other fashion related content. So if any of that interests you, I encourage you to stick around. Today's video, I have noticed the trend going around on YouTube where everyone's posting things that I find extremely chic. And as someone who posted 2 videos about being frugally chic, I had to jump on this trend as quickly as I possibly could and just share things that I find to be pretty chic. And to be honest, I've been thinking about posting this video for a few weeks now, but I wanted to give myself some time to think about the things that I find chic. And I'm gonna tell you right now, after posting this video, I'm gonna be like, I should have said this, should have mentioned this. So this is an ever-evolving list. This wouldn't be like my absolute, like these are the only things I find chic. I actually think I'm gonna make a part 2 of this video so that when all the things come to my mind that I didn't include in this video, I can actually share that with you guys. So let me know down below if you would like a part 2 of this. Before we continue, I just want to add a frame of reference for the rest of this video. My definition of chic is elegant and sophisticated. Just because I know that everyone talks about chic this, chic that, but what are we really saying when we say chic? I am speaking in terms of things that I find to portray elegance and sophistication. Just a heads up, if I'm looking down, it's because I have my list right here on my phone. Wrote all this down, I think, was it like 10 p.m., 11 p.m., almost midnight? Yeah. Number 1 is vanilla scented perfumes. I think a lot of my friends would agree with this when I say I find this extremely chic. Imagine giving someone a hug. You're just like, hey, how are you doing? You hug them and they just have this warm vanilla scent, especially coming from someone that already has a very warm and inviting personality. If I had to describe vanilla perfumes as a person, it would be someone who is just gentle, someone who keeps eye contact, but it isn't intense. It's just like, yeah, and how are you doing? That's good. Make sure you take care of yourself. Like, and they mean it genuinely. Like the comforting notes of vanilla. I don't know how to describe scents, so don't come for me. I have a lot of vanilla scented perfume. Some of my favorite is the Billie Eilish perfume, Kayali perfume. A sample of this from Sephora as my free gift. So don't forget your free birthday gift from Sephora. All right, the second thing that I find to be incredibly chic would be Tabby ballet flats. I got my first pair of Tabbies, I think maybe a year or 2 ago now, and I was super excited to have them as a part of my collection. And it was funny because my mom was like, why do you have these horseshoes? These look so dumb, you know? The reason I find the Tabby ballet flats to be particularly chic, I'm just gonna give a personal story. All of these may have personal stories, I'm sorry. I was thinking of like a basic shoe that I could wear to work that still, you know, fits the definitions of professionalism, just kind of like basic black and blue, you know, something you can wear for jobs that are a little bit stricter when it comes to dress code, but you can still have room for creative interpretation as long as you fit those, you know, parameters. What is an everyday flat that I can wear that would still feel like I'm, you know, secretly a fashion lover, and if you know, you know, isn't so over the top, isn't so obvious, isn't so logo heavy. I also just kind of like the style in general. Like Tabby style came from Japan with a sense of like taking my time. They're definitely not a shoe that you would rush yourself in. I mean, I'm sure someone is like running in Tabbies. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, no one has ever run in a pair of Tabbies, but I feel like it's a very mindful shoe. Mindful in the sense that like, I feel like when you're wearing it, taking one step at a time. I don't know, the way that the toe looks, it's almost like you're really taking your feet. This is a horrible description, oh my God. Personally, if I was in the work environment and I saw someone with like a very simple outfit and they just had like some nice Tabbies, I would think that was very chic. The next thing that I find extremely chic would be cursive handwriting. You would be amazed at how many people cannot write in cursive. I went to Christian school up until like 7th grade, and we were taught cursive in 4th grade. I remember learning cursive, and I remember I had this one classmate that was like, are we writing in cursive today or are we writing in English? Learning cursive was very frustrating, and I remember a lot of pushback from my classmates, like, we're not even gonna use this, nobody writes in cursive anymore. I think when it comes to signing things, and also when it comes to reading old files, old literature, I think it's such a skill to be able to read cursive handwriting. but also especially to be able to write in cursive. Other than my signature, which I've just taken years to perfect because I wanted a John Hancock signature, and I think my signature is beautiful. I really love when someone has a nice signature, or when you just see them writing in cursive as like freehand notes. I've met people that said writing in cursive was faster when taking notes, and I've also heard people saying writing in cursive is slower for them when taking notes. I think it just depends on your level of cursive use. The common thing I'm noticing in all the first 3 items that I've mentioned, chic to me requires you to slow down a bit. You could be quick moving, but like there's something about chicness that like screams like slowing down. And I think elegance and sophistication requires an element of slowing down and being mindful of the steps that you're taking. It's not just about doing it as quickly as you can. It's the way you're doing it. That's kind of like the whole thing behind etiquette training and stuff. It's not just about like how quickly you can finish your food, or how quickly you can be the first to get your food at the table, or how quickly you can get through a conversation. It's just about like the quality of that experience overall. Yeah, I think cursive handwriting makes writing, you know, one of those experiences. Number 4 would be handwritten thank you notes. If you are someone who remembers to send thank you notes after events, even better if you are like super quick with your thank you notes and you send them within 2 weeks of an event taking place, like you're amazing. I think handwritten thank you notes are a great way to show appreciation for people who have gifted you with their presents. Number 5, cloaks. I think that cloaks are very chic. I really like black coats, especially if it's made out of like wool material. Yeah, like a wool cloak. Something about that. Very mysterious. And the silhouette that it creates with a cloak, it's just like, you don't always have like a bunch of buttons or like a tie. It's just like wraps around. It's almost like a vampire. Like, you know, when they like open up their wings and stuff. Sorry guys, I'm going to a Halloween party tonight, so I'm very spooky mood right now. The way that cloaks move, the way that they drape around the body. I think it's the way that it drapes around the shoulders. Number 6 would be cashmere sweaters or short sleeve cardigans. I was trying not to list too many things, so that's why I put both. This isn't cashmere, but I do love just like short sleeve sweater material. That's what I mean by short sleeve cardigan, and then I absolutely am obsessed with sweaters. 7 would be the Loewe tomato candle. Love, 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 love the association Loewe has created with tomatoes. And just like the image of like a fresh tomato, and like you cut into it and it has all these ridges into it. In a way that values craftsmanship. Loewe's sensory experience is very elegant and sophisticated. And I know I'm repeating elegant, sophisticated, chic, elegant, sophisticated, chic. But I mean, that's what these things are. Number 8 would be wearing a signature palette or having like a signature color. Oh my gosh, don't get me started on like my coworkers. I think my coworkers are some of the chicest individuals in the world. I go to a workplace where we can kind of express ourselves in the way that we dress. We are business casual, smart casual, business casual, but I would say there's still a huge emphasis on this, like, be yourself. I have just noticed several times throughout our office that my coworkers really love to wear greens, neutrals, foresty type of colors, warm fall colors, just colors that scream nature, very comforting palettes. And it's so interesting because we'll be so synced up energetically, and like, I feel like when you spend a lot of time for people, you just kind of do that. We all come in and like everyone's wearing like a different shade of green and black and white and brown. And it almost looks like we're like, okay, are we all part of the same fashion campaign right now? Like, why do we all have the same idea? It's really nice seeing the range that they have with sticking to what works for them. Very rarely wearing bold outfits with like bold statement pieces and really exaggerated detail. They're usually wearing more muted colors, something that's a bit more easier on the eyes. There is just this kind of softness, I think, to the way that they express their color palette. After spending so much time with them, I've come to see that my own personal color palette, I remember for like a week, everyone's like, another neutral, browns today, okay, cream, you know, like beige. Like I was just like constantly putting different fits together with those colors, and I was wearing completely different clothes, but I noticed I just tend to gravitate towards like warm, neutral, sandy, beiges, neutral type of colors. It's the way that they wear it, they own it. And it's very unique to them, and it speaks to the energy that they bring into the room anyway. Number 9 is knowing more than one language. Oh, so jealous. If you grew up bilingual, jealous. If you grew up trilingual, jealous. Okay. You all know I have been learning Japanese and Spanish. Like since elementary school, I've been learning Spanish, and I've been learning Japanese since college. The best thing about learning Japanese and Spanish, and if you are also learning Japanese and Spanish, then I already know that you have realized this as well. But phonetically, they are so similar. They're basically the same phonetically, and I feel like it's very easy if you can speak one to speak the other, because you're not really changing the sounds very much. Like pan in Japanese is also pan in Spanish. I don't know, I'm going on a random tangent. I think that knowing more than one language is incredibly chic because you're demonstrating your intelligence by showing that you are culturally fluent. I think especially when those languages are so different from one another, amazing. Notice how I didn't say any specific languages. If you just know more than one language in general, especially as someone who went to Middlebury College, which was a very it's known for being a language school, and everyone there had their phone in a different language. It just felt like a place where you can immerse yourself entirely in a different culture and expose yourself to something you've never experienced before and see yourself in a new light. Getting to know yourself deeper. I feel like learning a second language really allows you to get to know yourself on a level that you may not have access to otherwise with just one language. Number 10, seafood in general. You're also talking to a major seafood lover, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. Just the way it's prepared and served. I don't think it matters if you're going to a high-end restaurant or like a local seafood shop. I think seafood in and of itself, it being like on the leaner side of protein, chic. It being like food that comes from the water, I think is very chic. Like, I don't know, I'm sorry. Personal favorites are like octopus, calamari, oysters, lobster, shrimp, salmon, the list goes on. I think that, for instance, like seafood is really good for skincare from what I hear. Like collagen, I believe. I'm not an expert on any of this, but from what I hear, seafood is really good for skincare. It's obviously like good for digestion. Number 11, I should have worn one for this video, but turtlenecks. As someone who grew up wearing turtlenecks and was like, I hate turtlenecks, they're so itchy, get this off of me. Now I can't stop wearing turtlenecks. I have so many turtlenecks in my closet, and my turtleneck collection will continue to grow. I consider it as one of the core pieces in my capsule wardrobe. The way that they just like conceal the neck, conceal your arms, and it just creates the shape. Like actually to the point where I remember wearing turtlenecks in high school, and my friend would be like, where are you going? Like, what is so serious that you need to put a turtleneck on for? Like, that was just funny to me back in the day. But yeah, to this day, like I do feel like putting on a turtleneck is pretty serious. I mean, think about Steve Jobs and his classic black turtleneck and blue jean fit. You know, these tech giants are like recreating that aesthetic. And I think the turtleneck just takes the focus away from up here, which, you know, you could wear a necklace or you could wear other tops that typically draw your attention, but it just takes the attention away from here and you are focused on the face of the individual. I feel like turtlenecks just really bring out your face, because it's literally like up to here and then face. And then depending on your hair, you're either like kind of hiding your face, or it's just like all face if you got your hair pulled back. Concealing and revealing at the same time. And lastly, number 12, I don't know how we got through this list, guys. I feel like I've been yapping for centuries. But number 12 is reading and or journaling. This is another one where I was like, I don't want to make this list super long, so I'm just going to include them as the same point, but they kind of give the same vibe. Someone who takes the time in their day to read and someone who takes the time in their day to journal, whether you are absorbing information or whether you are just expressing your thoughts on paper, will obviously help you when it comes to comprehension skills, being able to empathize with others, able to be so close to your emotions when journaling is very important for being able to articulate your ideas. Anything that you want to convey clearly, instead of being the type to talk around things, I think if you are someone who journals a lot, it might be a bit easier for you to get to the point. The more journaling I do, the easier it is to express myself. And when I'm talking to other people, it's not the first time I'm hearing myself express certain ideas or thinking about certain things. Now, yes, obviously there are times where I'm thinking about what I'm saying as I'm saying it, but for the most part, my values and where I come from, no matter what is presented to me, is consistent because I've taken the time to get to know myself. And I think that reading has just really, one, expanded my vocabulary. I just knew that I could not go too long without reading a book. And I think people who can read like 12 books in a year, like that's so impressive. especially if they're like really like big books. Like I feel like I've been reading the same book for like 4 months now. I think being able to connect with others over reading and have a shared community like book clubs is very special. And I think it's just very chic to have hobbies in general, but it's very chic to have hobbies that are intellectual hobbies and hobbies that will ultimately leave you feeling more like yourself and able to connect with others on a deeper level. Okay guys, I've been yapping so much throughout this entire video, oh my goodness, but I got through all 12 of the very niche things that I find incredibly chic. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure sharing the things that I find chic with you. And also, as I film more and more of these videos, I've been noticing I feel more comfortable on camera. And that's been something I've been talking about since I started this channel. I was like, when am I gonna feel more comfortable talking to the camera? And I think that is starting to happen with consistency. So I am trying to upload 1 video a week. Whew, I'm finally saying it on a video, so that means I gotta hold myself to it, which means you guys also gotta hold me to it, all right? I am going to try my best to get a new video out every single week. And yeah, if you guys have any recommendations of what you would like to see, please comment it below. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video next week. And thank you so much again for watching. Please comment below also if there are any things that I mentioned that you also find chic, or anything that I mentioned that you're like, I don't think that's chic at all, or things that you find chic. What do you find incredibly chic? Comment like 3 things below that you find incredibly chic, and that if someone says chic, those are things that come to mind. Chic starter pack. Let's get that rolling in the comment section. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Yeah. Wake up in the morning, you know, I do this shit. Like